Have you ever stood in front of your fridge, holding a carton of milk that smells perfectly fine, but hesitated just because the date says it expired 2 days ago? You throw it out. But here's something strange. That same milk might have been completely safe to drink. Every year, we discard tons of food, not because it's spoiled, but because of a number printed on a package. But where did that number come from? And does it really mean what we think it means? Here's the truth. Expiration dates didn't always exist. For thousands of years, humans survived without them. They used their senses, smell, taste, touch. If something seemed off, they didn't eat it. This system worked because food was local. You knew where it came from. You knew how long it had been sitting there. But in the 1970s, something changed. Food started traveling farther. Factories replaced farms. Products sat in warehouses, trucks, and stores for weeks before reaching your home. Suddenly, you couldn't trust your instincts alone. You didn't know the journey your food had taken. So, manufacturers introduced dates, not as warnings, but as promises. A promise that the product would taste the way they intended it to, as long as you consumed it by a certain time. And that is the key. Most of these dates were never about safety. They were about quality control. Here's why this matters. Our brains are wired to avoid risk, especially when it comes to food. Psychologists call this loss aversion. We'd rather throw something away than take even a small chance of getting sick. And food companies, they know this. When they print a date, they're not calculating the exact moment food becomes unsafe. They're estimating when it might start losing flavor, texture, or color. To protect their reputation, they choose conservative dates, dates that expire earlier than necessary. So, that yogurt, that bread, that bag of chips, they're often still perfectly fine days, even weeks after the label says otherwise. But because the date passed, your brain treats it like a danger signal, even when your senses tell you it's okay. Now, let's be clear, not all dates are the same. Some foods, like raw chicken or fresh fish, do need attention. Bacteria grows fast on them. The date matters. But most of what we buy, canned beans, pasta, rice, crackers, honey, these don't suddenly turn toxic when the calendar flips. Honey, for example, can last thousands of years. Archaeologists have found edible honey in ancient Egyptian tombs, yet it still gets an expiration date. Why? Because regulations or retailers require it, not because the honey cares. The truth is, companies set these dates based on testing under ideal conditions. But your fridge isn't a lab. Your pantry isn't controlled. So the date becomes a rough guide, not a hard rule. Your senses? They are still your best tool. Understanding this doesn't just save money, it changes how you think about waste. Because when you throw away food based purely on a date, you're trusting a system designed for logistics and legal protection, not for your specific situation. You're ignoring thousands of years of human instinct, the ability to judge freshness without a label. That's not reckless, that's informed. So, next time you see a date that's passed, pause for a second. Smell it, look at it. Trust yourself a little more than the ink on the package. We've outsourced a lot of our decisions to labels and numbers, but some things we still know how to judge on our own. So, tell me, what's one food you've always thrown out right after the date, even though it seemed fine?